Good afternoon and welcome to GrainTV. It's June 5th, 2013. To my right is Cody Bills and I'm Brock Shimbino. We had bull spreading as a theme today in the markets. Let's turn over to Fire Tip to see what happened in Chicago. Old crop corn was up 1/4 cent. New crop was down 10 3/4. Old crop soybeans up 3 1/4. New crop down 16 cents. Wheat in Chicago down 7 1/2, and Kansas City wheat off 7 1/2 as well. You know, Cody, like I said, we did see a lot of bull spreading. What are your thoughts on why the market was reacting the way it was today?
Well, I think the bottom line here is we have very tight stocks, and I think partly that's what held up the front months, the July contracts. And I think what this really is showing is how important it's going to be to pay attention to those June 28th quarterly stocks numbers when they come out. That's going to be a huge report, and you guys are really going to have to be thinking about that as we move toward that June 28th date. How are you going to position yourselves? Do you have risk on the table that you'd like to mitigate? So those are very important themes. You know, one other thing that seems to be interesting as well is that as we move toward first notice day or for the July contracts, what we will start to see is elevators rolling out of that July contract that they're placing their bids on and basing their basis off of into that September contract. And I think that with that inverse carry, you might actually see the cash price get hurt a little bit. There's a possibility too that as we do that, you may start to see September prices start to come back up, particularly because of the wetness that we've seen and the fact that those early grain stocks or early harvested grain just may not be available this year like it's been in the past. You know, Brock, I think another big reason why old crop rallied here was the ethanol numbers today. They came out much better than expected. Could you break them down for us?
Yeah, Cody, let's just take a look at the model we've been following this marketing year. The green line is what we are projecting for weekly ethanol production to meet our current projection of 4.5 billion bushels of corn going to ethanol production. The blue line is what we saw last year for production, and the red bars are what we see this year for production. So you can see that last bar was actually a marketing year high for this year. You know, the number that we actually saw was 885,000 barrels per day produced. That was up about 22,000 barrels from last week. Stocks were also up about 364,000 barrels, just over 16.4 million barrels there. So not a big surprise on the stocks number, but that ethanol production figure was very strong, and that comes in the face of actually the crush margin in Iowa moving back just a little, moving a little bit lower down to $1.86 per bushel. So that's something we're going to have to keep in mind if we continue to see that crush margin maybe back off a little bit. We might see production start to slow down just a little bit, but still, once again, very good numbers out of the ethanol sector. But again, our projection is still holding steady at about 4.5 billion bushels of corn going to ethanol, whereas the USDA has it at 4.6 billion bushels. So we're coming up about 100 million bushels lower than what the USDA is currently projecting.
Okay, that sounds fair enough. And also, guys, keep in mind that tomorrow we do have export sales come out. It seems as though the expectations are pretty much on the low end. Wheat for old crop expectations really no export sales are expected. For corn, between 100 and 200,000 metric tons, and for soybeans, really no export sales are expected there. So if we do get some export sales, it may be a surprise to the upside, and you may end up seeing a little bit of strength in the old crop contracts, the July contracts for corn and soybeans. Other than that, that wraps up today's show. If you have any questions about what we talked about, give us a call at 877-472-4607. Remember, you can visit us on the web at grainhedge.com and take a demo of the Fire Tip trading platform where you can view live quotes and get $7 trades in your home office. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you here tomorrow.